Welcome, everybody, and thank you so much for being here. My name is Olivia Collette, and I'm the marketing coordinator at the John Molson Executive Center. I'll be moderating today's webinar, which is broadcasting from Montreal, Canada. As such, I would like to begin by acknowledging that Concordia University is located on unceded Indigenous lands. The Kanien'kehá:ka Nation is recognized as the custodians of the lands and waters on which we gather today. Tiohtià:ke, or Montreal, is historically known as a gathering place for many First Nations. Today, it is home to a diverse population of Indigenous and other peoples. We respect the continued connections with the past, present, and future in our ongoing relations with Indigenous and other peoples within the Montreal community. Now, on to the webinar. I would like to introduce you to Philippe Delisle, who is the speaker at today's webinar. Philippe is the Chief Information Officer at Concordia University in Montreal. He has over 27 years of leadership experience across the public and private sectors, and he's held senior roles at Hydro-Québec and Bombardier Aerospace. As CIO in multiple large organizations, Philippe has successfully led major digital transformations. He holds a bachelor's degree in accounting from the Université de Québec à Montréal and is a professional goal-centric certified coach through Concordia's John Molson Executive Center. His unique background reflects a strong ability to align technology with organizational strategy, to integrate innovation within government's frameworks, and to drive risk management and strategic execution. Philippe, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
So I wanted to start with the John Molson Executive Center, which we mentioned in our introduction to you. We just launched our IT leadership program, which includes 6 courses on different topics relevant to this particular branch of leadership. But I understand that the idea for this program actually came from you. So I wanted to know if you could walk us through how it all began and the gaps that you felt needed to be filled with IT leadership.
Well, thank you. And I think it all started with the belief that professional development is very important for our leaders. And we need to invest gradually year over year to provide growth. And we can't expect the teams to grow if we don't invest in their leaders. Leadership development lifts the whole system. So if you support a leader, the whole team benefits from it. It was important for me to treat the team as a single learning unit. If people learn in silos, this is a great step. But if you can bring a team to learn together, you get to co-developing, they support each other. It's not just top-down teaching, it's leaders learning with their teams, and it fosters trust and mutual accountability. For me also, if you want to make a change in the culture of a team, I truly believe it's through knowledge, behaviors, and consistent leadership modeling. And for me, a gap was not only in skills, but in coherence. I needed the team to start having a common language, common learnings, and having connected behaviors.
Well, and speaking of which, what do you think the particularities are of an IT team that makes an IT team different from other teams?
I like that question because I think IT has a very unique perspective. We work with every department. So everyone in the university or everyone in an organization has an interaction with IT, whether it's for just support or with major projects and digital transformations. And few teams have that privilege to connect with the overall part of the organization. We're not just supporting, we're contributing. So we're positioned to understand and improve each department's goal, challenge, and impact. We live in a very fast-forward world, and the pace of change in tech forces us to stay ahead, always scanning what's next. And in a sense, we need to be first to understand something, to be able to explain it, or at least start to see it coming. Our knowledge needs to be incredibly broad as well, because we can't specialize in only one thing. We need to know the whole stack. We need to know how to implement things as well as how to connect with the users from now and to the future. Trust is our real product. With so many shiny miracles that comes from the market, we need to fight against marketing that creates simplistic idea of implementation. At the end of it, we need to be able to cut through the hype and earn trust by guiding teams to what truly works.
Well, and speaking of guidance, what do you feel are the qualities that you look for in an effective IT leader?
So in a nutshell, I would summarize that in three things: value advocacy, being able to see beyond the tool and go towards the business outcome. Second, strategic simplification, being able to take the complexity and explain it in ways that the business doesn't have to make an effort to understand the technology, but can connect with the technology towards simple ideas. And systemic thinking. It's, for me, it's people, process, and tools. Going only on the side of implementing tools in one is only 1/3 of it, and in most solutions, it signifies a failure because the process has not evolved and the people has not been engaged. So for me, if we expand on this, is we need to go beyond the simple ticket. Great IT leaders think like salespeople. They understand their clients' world, and before pitching a solution, they understand the needs, they understand the impact and the outcome that are expected. It's not about closing a request. It's about connecting with the real, often unspoken needs behind them. We need to master simplification. If people can't understand what you're saying, it doesn't matter how brilliant the solution is. And we need to communicate with clarity and impact. It's not just about being clear, it's about being heard and trusted. And for me, thinking systematically, IT is it's not only tech, it's a lot of process engineering. It's a lot of improving processes. Once the process is defined, the tool can work to automate it and make it better.
Well, and maybe that segues into my next question, which is what do you feel are the biggest challenges that IT teams face that leaders need to prepare them for and coach them through?
This is a common challenge that we have, where marketing from big tech is very strong, and it creates this idea that a miracle tool will solve everything. So the interaction we have often with users and stakeholders is, I want a tool that will solve a situation. And digging deeper to understand what is the situation, what is the problem, is key. If a user comes with an attitude that the tool will solve everything, the tool alone is not enough. A problem-solving mindset instead of executing on a need is really a key. IT versus business teams look at themselves with a gap of understanding. IT needs to bridge the gap. So we understand the technology, business understand the business. We don't expect the business to make that step towards IT. IT needs to make the step to understand the business, connect with them. There's also a challenge of being able to explain things. Mastery shows when complex ideas are made easy to grasp. So if we're able to take technologies, complexities, and bring that to a simple way, it's going to be easier to make decisions. Finally, I would have to say, the biggest challenge over there is to be able to say yes and instead of no but. Because if you start saying no, you become a roadblock, and really IT's job is to be an enabler of solutions. But we can't do everything. But being able to stay in the idea, stay in the momentum of creating a solution, I think is key to get to the bottom of the problem and find an adequate solution.
Most of us who work in an office setting might have the perception that an IT team sets us up with our hardware, fixes our online tools when there are bugs, stuff like that. But I know there's also a much longer term vision for IT teams, that they're actually an important part of a company's strategic plan. Could you tell us a little bit about how IT teams are part of that long-term goal and that long-term vision?
Yes, IT teams are great firefighters. All through the industry, you can find IT teams as great firefighters. There's an issue, you've got people there to support you. If there's an emergency or needs, we're there. And I have to say, this is the great quality that IT team have, but this is only half of the requirements and the expectations from an IT team. The other half is building a team that can anticipate the future, being 5 years ahead, not just 5 minutes. And it's a completely different part of how to react. So strategic IT is about foresight, not just about fixing what technology will do to the business down the road, or we're building toward the now. The long-term game requires early moves. You don't modernize infrastructure or develop team capabilities overnight. Those things takes years to prep. As an example, I think AI is very good as an example. It's arriving, it arrived fast, but many are now stuck because foundational pieces are missing. Data quality, data security needs to be planned in advance. And now that we're super excited to use AI, we realize that some foundations are missing. So we're stuck. And the FOMO, the fear of missing out, is really present because we don't understand the infrastructure or the foundations are needed to make that happen safely and in a way that users are going to feel safe to use it.
From another perspective, executives can often see IT as a department that's a cost center. So what strategies have you used to build trust with executives and demonstrate the strategic value of IT?
Well, first, it's to recognize that we are a cost center. IT is a cost center by definition. We don't generate revenue directly. If the business stops, so do we. So we need the business to thrive for us to be present. However, can any organization today say that they can grow without IT? Today, no organization can scale, compete, or even function without smart use of technology. If you strip away IT from your product or service and ask, is it still viable? Is it still competitive? That's the wake-up call, where you realize that this is a partnership. It's a partnership that we work together to make business better. It's not business versus IT. It's together that we strive to ride deploying the goals of the organization. We're not beside the strategy, we're inside it. If you look at how we deploy technology, sometimes it's about tools, but we need to tie what we're doing. We need to tie the technology to tangible outcomes. It's not the implementation of a CRM project, it's a growth project. So you're expecting to grow sales, and the use of a CRM is going to be one of the items that is going to be necessary to make you do that. Is it future-proofing your organization? So the technology, the processes, and the people will allow you to achieve business goals. And you need to tie the tech to those goals and not only to the presence of the technology to be there. For me, to create this trust with the business, it's the use of business cases. For me and my team, it's always a link with the business goals, with the intent and the expected outcomes that are generated within a business case, where you say, how will we impact the business? What's the commitment of IT to do what enablement in the business to allow capacity to be deployed? So it's a tool, it's a process, it's people, and suddenly you can do something better and you achieve business goals.
Well, it's interesting that you say that because, you know, the implementation of a CRM is something that is definitely a conversation that I hear in my environment. So let's start let's start with that as a jumping off point. So let's say that you were implementing a CRM. How can IT leaders approach risk management and change management, for example, in the case of implementing a CRM, so that their teams can stay confident and engaged?
So it's a very good question. And let's assume that everybody understands what is a CRM, but in a nutshell, a CRM is a platform that is used mainly for sales team that will gather information on potential clients. And from the gathering of this information until you actually do a sale is one of the big flow that is supported by a CRM. For a sales team that is used to work manually with a Cardex or notes and their phones, for many, a rollout of a CRM can look like a surveillance to the sales team. It can, because what they do is they have to enter everything they do in the CRM for the CRM to really have the full force of gathering data, providing insights, providing all the nature of what a CRM does is providing data about how is the sales funnel happening. But for a sales team, it can look like a big brother aspect of it watches everything. It's not just a tool, it's a shift of identity. Suddenly, their work is trackable. It can trigger fear or losing autonomy or being micromanaged. So change management towards such a risk is key. We need to start with empathy, not enforcement. We need to understand what they're afraid of. We need to recognize that they might be afraid of something, that there's a change of culture, and then design the rollout with those concerns in mind. Make the why crystal clear. Why do we do a CRM? What's the goal? What's the business goal? Is it to grow sales? Why would a CRM contribute to that? And how will it help them? If that is not solved before the project, we're going towards a failure. The CRM will be there. The green light of the server will say it works, but the people won't use it. And I like the example of a CRM because if no one uses a CRM, there's no data going in, so no dashboard, no KPIs, no reports. The CRM is empty and useless. Another thing is we need to celebrate the small wins. If it helps the users, if it helps the team, we need to celebrate it because it's a change. It's a change that's going to take more time than just the implementation of the software itself. True engagement comes from doing change with them, not to them. So, and confidence grows when people feel safe, involved, and informed.
Well, yeah, and speaking of informing people, let's talk a little bit about communication. What should an IT leader's communication strategy be for IT teams, and how is that different from how you might communicate with another team, say finance?
So, I don't know about finance, but I'll come back to those two core activities that we have to do in IT. I was talking about firefighters and looking ahead. We can come back to IT has to balance between keeping the lights on, which is support, which is maintenance, which is security, which is making sure that what we have implemented works the way it was intended to. And also looking at how to drive transformation. Any project or initiatives that creates new value is what we would put in the category of driving transformation. This is building something new, bringing something new. It's bringing a change to the organization, to a group of users or a few users. That balance requires two communication rhythms. There's a daily pulse to check how is the team going, how is the organization going, how do we stay responsive to the users actually working, playing with the platform. But the other way also is to see longer terms. We need to have a forward-looking discussion for longer terms. There's also a dimension that needs to be taken into account. No department is alike. So basically, when you speak with finance, with HR, with sales, or with really operational department, everybody is working on a different schedule. They have different peak moments during the year. They have different ways and culture to work. So you need to adapt with that to really understand them and connect with them and see things coming from their perspective. IT needs to stay away from a transactional trap. And the trap is to wait for a stakeholder to come with a request. I always say that's the waitress pad. Let's wait for someone to say, I want this. Usually this translates into, I want a tool. And at that point, it comes so late in the game, there's a sense of urgency that prevents you to go deep and understand the problem that lies behind. So this is where talking ahead, getting to know each other and understand things that are coming helps you see things coming and understand the context and the problems. The other big part for me is the transformation outpaces absorption. We lead change faster than the organization can often handle. So we have many projects in parallel. There's excitement behind technologies. So we tend to do a lot. And with years, we start to be able to deploy faster. And even the market creates solutions that are able to be deployed faster, which is good in a way. But on the other side, if you look at the users, they have a real life. They have a real work to do on a day-to-day. And those projects are including changes into their day-to-day, and there's a limit to what an organization can absorb. And IT needs to find a way to see that coming and assess that as well. We rarely pause to tell our story. So IT moves from either one incident to the other, one request to the other, from one project, one go live to the other. But if we don't stop to say, good job, to recognize what we did and explain what we did, there's a misconception that a lot is being deployed and the only thing that surfaced are things that are broken. So for the team engagement and just to see how digital transformation is moving, we need to work on communication, to take the time to explain what we did, why we did it, if it was a success or a failure, and when we fail, what have we learned from that? Just an example for that is cybersecurity. This is the most silent of all services. When it works, you never hear about it. But when it fails, you see the hack, you see the loss, you see the data that has been lost. And this is where you question yourself, have we done our job? But cybersecurity is a space that we are investing a lot of people, a lot of skills and money. And looking back at what those people are doing is key for the survival of an organization. So this is where communication is key to explain what we do, why we do it. And the KPI of success is just nothing's going on. Nothing is happening to the organization.
No, I like that insight a lot. Yeah, no news is good news in some cases, right? So I understand that you're a professional coach and active in organizations beyond IT. How would you say that those experiences shaped your approach to IT leadership?
So coaching gave me a window into the minds of leaders. I have the opportunity to have worked with many type of leaders, not only in IT, and it helped me very much to understand various contexts. It exposed me to what's not said in boardrooms, the emotional, strategic, and political layers of leadership. And it really helped me to connect with some of those things and also to learn how other people are living through that. It also built a bridge between IT and the real business experience. There's my way of looking at things with an IT lens, and there's also how you see other leaders living the organization and its flow during a year. So it allows me to better understand the pressure other leaders face, not just their request. For me, it helped also to build professional empathy. And I think this is key for IT. We are usually geeks that loves technologies and loves systems and basically connecting with humans and what they're living on a day-to-day basis. It can be a higher challenge. And I think as leaders, we need to lean on our technology knowledge and skills, but we now need to connect with the people we're working in because they are living real things and we can help. We can help first by understanding what they're doing. Coaching trains curiosity as well. The goal is not to jump to solve with the team, but to ask the right questions, to help teams find their own answers. And a wink to my own team is, on that topic, I still have work to do. But coaching is not enough. For me, coaching is one part. Coaching is assuming that you have all the answers and we can find a way to unleash the solutions that you already have within you. The second part for me is leadership growth. That starts with awareness of what you don't know. And my expression is you don't know what you don't know. And leadership development for me is helping others see that blind spot of what you're missing to get better answer and more deeper solutions.
Yeah, no, I like this idea about awareness because right now we're living in a landscape that's transforming so quickly with AI and with also the idea of digital transformation. And with that in mind, looking ahead, how do you see the role of IT leaders evolving over the next 5 years?
I think we've been saying that for a few years now. Transformation is not the right word anymore. Digital transformation isn't a project, it's a state of mind. And transformation of organization, same. There's no finish line. We're now in a cycle of constant iteration and improvement. And the market is pushing for that. And we as users globally, we are looking towards the next technology. So basically, we're built into continuously transform, consume differently, and use technology differently. So this demands a mindset shift. It requires, yes, projects that delivers specific things built on budget with specific dates, but it also requires to question ourselves about what's the next part. So this iteration is one of, and what is the continuity in what we're doing towards a bigger goal. For me, AI is the bridge to more strategic influence. It helps us to spot better ways to solve problems faster and with deeper insight. I'm not saying that AI is a truth. I think AI provides you quick, new ways of looking at things. Some are false, some are good, but it gives you access to more faster. So it helps you to be faster. You need to think of AI as a business simplifier and an IT unifier. It's not just a tool, it's inspiration. It's new perspective. For me, it's the World Wide Web of 1991. When it came out, it was suddenly huge and created a huge transformation in the world. Now AI, I think it's the World Wide Web on steroids. Leadership is shifting from control to empowerment. Our job is less about managing tasks, more about unleashing people towards a goal and helping them, supporting them, having whatever they need to get there. Inside IT and across the business, IT has an opportunity to help business see things differently and help them execute their goals and mission with technology that can ease up and help be faster. We become interpreter of complexity. Our role is to help the business feel understood, to show them we're not just here to implement, but to co-create a meaningful, simplified solutions.
Philippe, I would love to thank you for being here and for sharing your wisdom and your insights with us today. This truly was a very illuminating chat, and I appreciated every moment of it. Have a great rest of your day.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.